Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be setting up my bullet journal for 2022, and this is a bullet journal addition to notebook from Leuchtturm 1917 in the black color, and I got mine directly from Leuchtturm, and I got mine personalized with some gold foil, and I foiled in 2022 versus doing a monogram, which I thought was kind of a fun touch for a new year and a new journal. This is the same notebook I used for my 2021 setup, and I fell in love with it so much I knew I wanted to use it again for 2022. I anticipate that I will get 6 months in this bullet journal. That's kind of what I average, but I decided to stick with this notebook because, one, it has 120 GSM paper, which is sort of my happy place. 160 GSM paper is just sort of too thick for how I use my planner, and the 120 holds up to all the markers and pens that I use really well with no ghosting, and it handles my fountain pens beautifully. This notebook also has a smart grid system, which I've learned is really a huge time saver for me when it comes to setting up spreads, because I don't need to pull out my calculator or a ruler to measure things. I can kind of just wing it based on whether I'm splitting the page into 2, 3 columns, etc. This notebook also has 205 numbered pages, which is a more realistic number for me to comfortably get 6 months in without kind of feeling like I'm making sacrifices. And I also just like a hardcover black notebook because they're easy to take care of and I don't have to worry about it so much since I typically bring my planner with me everywhere. But I am starting this setup up with something a little bit different. I'm doing a full page floral bleed on the left-hand page, and I was inspired to do this from Artie's 2021 setup. Her handle is Leela Journals. I will link her YouTube and her Instagram account down below. She did this sort of floral bleed, and I just felt really inspired to try my hand at it. I'm definitely doing some different types of greenery. I'm trying to pull in some more winter appropriate greenery through some spring with the daisies, and I'll be using some more autumnal color palette just sort of throughout this entire setup really, but I really like how this turned out and I'm glad I tried something new. On the right-hand page, I stamped in my word of the year, which is campaign, and I'll talk about how I kind of came up with that word, but it's related to the goal setting workbook that I used for the year, and I'm coloring in all of these florals using Tombow dual brush pens. I will list all the numbers for these colors down below if you want to check them out, but they are the same Tombow dual brush pens that I showcased in my pens favorite video a few months back, and I can link that up in the cards if you would like to check that out. But I'm trying to challenge myself a little bit more in this particular notebook setup to feel like I can be more creative and practice, and I think I get really nervous to do some more artistic spreads, particularly around the beginning of my planner, because I'm gonna have to use this for the next 6 months approximately, so it's kind of a lot of commitment, but I'm glad I did something different. From here, I'm setting in my vision journal on the left-hand page, which is intended for the key. I don't draw my key in my planner at this point because I've been using the same for a few years here, but on the right-hand page, I'm going to put in my goals, and I'm creating a border, which is sort of this like rounded cornered rectangle shape, and then I will be writing in all 7 of my goals. I set up my goals, found my word of the year, and created my vision board working through the Cultivate That Matters Power Sheets workbook. And I've used them in the past. I did kind of do a video recently talking about my experience doing the prep work, and I can link that up in the cards if you would like to check that out. But I enjoy using them because it makes me feel like I'm on top of my stuff. But one of the things I'm really trying to work on this year is make sure my goal setting and my goals make their way into my planner, because my planner is what I'm actually reaching for, referencing, and touching every day. So I wanted to make sure I got my goals and my vision board in my planner this year so that they were easy to reference. I am doing all of my writing using my Pilot Vanishing Point fountain pen. This is an extra fine and it is inked with the Atramentis Archive Ink, which is probably my favorite due to its quick dry time and the fact that I can color over and highlight over it using Tombow dual brush pens, which, you know, it doesn't smudge or anything like that. So it's kind of my go-to no matter what planner I'm in, and this notebook handles the ink beautifully. There are 4 pages in this planner labeled index, and I don't need all 4 pages, but I am reserving 2, and from there I'm just going to use the remaining index pages to set up my future log. My future log is pretty simple this year. I'm doing 3 months per page vertical columns. I'm a Monday starter. And I'm writing again all those numbers using my Pilot Vanishing Point, and then using a Tombow mono drawing pen in 01, which is a felt tip fine liner. I am drawing in using that smart grid system the 3 columns and a horizontal line across, and that gives me 2 spaces under each month. The top section I use for holidays and birthdays, and the bottom section is where I will pre-plan any events or tasks that I need to handle within the month. Then to label each of these months, I'm pulling out a different fountain pen. This is the Ferris wheel brush pen in fine, and again I have that inked with some black Atramentis Archive ink. It's just a little bit of a bolder tip, so it makes the heading stand out just a little bit more, and I'm writing in the first 3 letters of each month in a loose cursive for this setup. Turning the page, I'm setting up a future log in an Alistair method, and I'm just writing out, I think it's like the first letter of the 12 months of the year for 2023, and a column just because inevitably I will get like a wedding invitation around May for, you know, the next year or something. I just wanted a space to write that out in case I needed to. And the right hand page, I just wrote in the next chapter, and that's a space where I will write down anything that I want to do for my next bullet journal setup. It's like a pre-printed or pre-designated migration page is basically how I use that. So from here, we're moving into my habit trackers, and I did lose some footage here, so you'll kind of see that as we go through, but I need lots of habit trackers, or I like lots of habit trackers, and I set these up basically the same way as what you're seeing me do now, but I do Monday through Sunday at the top, and then I'm writing week numbers vertically down the side. I refer to this as an annual weekly view, so I will track my cycle this way, my workouts this way, my work hours is what I'm working on now. I also tracked whether I'm eating whole food plant-based this year, and a couple other things. I think it's my weight log along with the weekly average, and then I outlined all of them again with this same sort of rounded corner rectangle motif. And then I continued some of those same florals you saw me do on the beginning pages just to sort of spice it up. And this was way different than something I've ever done before by kind of continuing that pattern through, but it makes my beginning pages feel super cohesive. So I definitely understand when people do more of a theme on their beginning pages. Right hand page here, I'm just splitting into 3 columns, and I labeled it tickets, and that's because both these pages are kind of like a quick reference for me for my work hours, and then any sort of ticket numbers that I need to find again to reference while I'm working. So turning the page, I am setting up my weekly cleaning tracker, which is a spread that I wish I didn't need, but I do. And I am again doing sort of like an annual weekly view, except I'm writing the week numbers across the top starting in week 48 because I will move into this planner for the month of December of 2021, just because I don't like having to bring 2 planners with me when I travel over the new year. And then down on the left-hand page, I just wrote in the areas that I need to clean. Turning the page, I'm setting up my monthly cleaning tracker along with my adulting spread. I did keep these separate, in this particular setup, and this is more of a monthly annual view. So I do the first letter of each of the month across the top, and then down on the right I am writing in things that I need to clean on a monthly and or quarterly basis, along with some like toiletry related things, like when I need to switch my toothbrush and things like that. And this setup, I'm just writing out what the things are. I need to go back and look at my previous bullet journal to go ahead and put a dot under each of the months that I would actually need to do more of these like quarterly related tasks, more so than the things that I need to do every month, which I tried to kind of put towards the top of the list and skip a row to kind of see the two different sections. And then again, I'm anticipating adding to this. This is a spread that I'm always improving upon iteratively, notebook by notebook. I always find something else that I wish I had in this list. So I left some blank space underneath so that there was a little bit of room to grow when it came to drawing this same rounded rectangle shape around the actual tracker portion. The right-hand page is my adulting spread. Very similar concept, same setup, except I'm putting my list on the left-hand page because I kind of liked how it looked to have it all centered across the two-page spread. And these are things that I need to manually take action on to be a thriving adult, such as doing my vehicle registration and emissions inspection, things like that, they're not automated. I need to take action to do them. And it also serves as a hybrid of like when did I last, and I typically will log like when I go to the doctors in here as well, along with my husband, so that it's easy to reference. And again, I'm doing my title using that Ferris wheel brush pen fountain pen. Alright, turning the page, I'm setting up my gifts ideas spread, and I will split essentially the page into 2 quarters. I'm doing the first letter of each of my family members' names and on the left there, and then on the right I will list down any gift ideas that come up throughout the year. I left a space blank because my sister is having a baby and I don't know his name yet at the time I set this up, so I'll go in and add that one more letter when baby has a name. And again, drawing this rectangle around but leaving it blank on the right hand side so that the task can kind of go in, or not the task, the ideas can kind of go in that blank space. And then on the right here, I'm creating a wish list. I'm doing this one a little bit differently so I can actually put the costs associated with the items on my wish list, and basically I will do a check mark if I get the item, and then what is the general cost of the item, so I'm not purchasing things impulsively. I can kind of sit on it for a day and go from there. Next, I'm creating my running shopping list. This is for basically things that we would get that are not grocery related. So if we're going to make a Target run, etc. And I just write the items there and check them off after we pick them up. And the right-hand page is my inventory spread. I'm splitting this page into 4 quarters. Top half, I will keep track of toiletries and bathroom products, and basically I will do a dot on the right hand portion for every backup product that we have, and then when we open it up I will check it off, and if I run out of room I create a new row, and if I run out of rows I create a new page, because I kind of get asked how I use this inventory spread quite a bit. And then at the bottom, this is more like pantry related items. Is if we buy something in bulk at, let's say, Sam's Club, I'll put a dot for each one that we use, and then when we're on the last one, I know I need to add it to our list. Alright, home stretch here. So turning the page, I'm setting up a package tracker, and I wanted to make this one feel a little bit more decorative, so I brought over one of the same green doodles that I did in my beginning page on that floral bleed, and then I kind of drew some scallop edge around it to make it look like a stamp, and then did some wavy lines through it so it looked like it was a posted stamp. And then from there I'll kind of create a couple columns, and basically I will write in anytime we purchase something that's being shipped to the house, or someone says they are mailing something to me, I write down what that is and I leave 2 columns. I will check off when it is shipped, shipped, and I will check it off when I receive it, just so I don't lose packages in our building, because we kind of have to keep track of that, because I could go like in a locker or in a back room or in our actual mailbox. So having it written down helps me out a ton. And then the right hand page is labeled Brandon, which is my spouse, and that's just his designated collection page, because he will ask me to write things down occasionally, and I like putting them in one place. So the next couple spreads I'm setting up are some check registers. The left hand page is what I title my debits, and basically if things get charged to the wrong account, I write it down here, so when we balance out our finances on a monthly basis, I can move money around as needed. And the right hand page is titled register, which is for my own personal spending, fun money, etc. And basically I'll do like the date, the balance, the amount, what it was, money in, money out, that kind of thing. And I am again using that same Tombow mono drawing pen to draw in the straight lines over my fountain pen, because using a ruler and fountain pen for me typically ends in sadness, so the felt tip marker just works a little bit better for things like that. But hopefully this setup was helpful for you guys to see. I always love setting up a brand new bullet journal and getting all my collections together at the front of this notebook. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. If you have made it this long, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.